Once again, hello, how are you doing? I'm James Jack, and this is Rock Your Block, Ernestine J. Wilson Real Estate, and Homes Radio. Why am I doing this? Because the producer says, you're confusing these people with all these different names and everything, so take your choice. However, I am really happy today to have my guest, Miss Lorette Farris. She's the CEO of iBoss Inc. And when they told me that she was going to be coming on, I said, yes, I get a chance to ask questions that for years I've been asking and not getting the answers. Because I'm a small business owner myself. My wife and I, we were able to survive the last financial fiasco. And as I say, most businesses fail within the first 3 to 6 years, but we've been around for quite some time, but we learned a lot. And one of the things that I learned was, even in a downturn, lots of things are happening. The bees are still going out and they're still pollinating the flowers, and they're bringing the pollen back to the hive where the honey is made. And that's what business is all about. Even during downtime, there is innovation, necessity creates innovative thinking and products. And my guest, Ms. Lorette Farris, who is the CEO of iBoss, finds those people, or they come to her and they say, I have an idea, or I want to do this, and I need money. How can I get it?
That's what I'm asked all the time, yes.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Pleased to be here.
Okay. I know that was a long intro, but I had to get a little housekeeping done because of the fact that, I confuse myself sometimes, and in the process, I drag everybody else along with me.
That's quite all right. I think we all do that.
But we're going to make it crystal clear. I read your bio. I was very impressed. Business brokerage, mergers and acquisitions expert, helping the people raise money, venture capital. How did it all come together? Tell me.
It came together. I started in investment banking, but when I came out of investment banking, I did consulting for a small community on Long Island. Doing the consulting for those small businesses led me to really want to help them transition out or grow.
Small businesses in the sense of?
These were truly your mom and pop businesses.
Not
there
the
was a tuxedo shop. No,
not the multi-million.
These are individuals, let's call them solopreneurs. They're lifestyle businesses. The corner diner that really just does coffee and bagels, or the little tuxedo shop.
But employs 2 or 3 people.
Exactly. That is exactly
Necessary.
right. Right there in the community. And, they work with people regardless of what their backgrounds are or whether they may have served time or, so they're the ones that really have the engine running in the community.
We have served times. You can look at them with a squint.
That's exactly right. However,
yes.
But you know that when you live in the community, you know the people in your community. So those you want to try. So trying to help them was a big concern for me. A lot of them didn't realize they didn't have to let their business go out of business because of a sickness or whatever the circumstance was. Sell your business. And I was surprised that was a new concept within the communities. So the consulting morphed into business brokerage.
Now you said sell your business, just to, do away with any semantics. Selling your business could be marketing your business, or it could be finding someone who wanted to buy your business because you decided either to retire or move up. What is sell your business?
And that you hit it. That's exactly right. It could be that you find, if you own a little tuxedo shop, and those are when you have your proms where people go just to rent the tuxedos. You have a little tuxedo shop and you want to transition out. Either you can find someone else to buy it and continue to run it as a solopreneur, or you can find a bigger company that has a tuxedo shop that would like to be in that community, and you get them to take over the business. Maybe you keep some piece of ownership, but there are various ways for those same businesses to figure out how to transition instead of just closing shop and they get nothing.
I'm a small business. I don't have time to be looking for someone to buy my business. I don't know anything about someone coming in and telling me, I mean, all of this is mumbo jumbo. How do you make it clearer to me and other people who are in that position where they're saying, I worked 10, 15, 20 years to build my business. I don't want to just give it away. What do I do?
And that was exactly where a lot of these businesses, the position they were in, they didn't think they had time to do it. They didn't think they understood enough, only because they never had anyone that they had those conversations with. So there's two ways that I go about doing things. Helping you to understand what you can do yourself to make it happen, or as an agent doing it for you. So at the time, as a business broker, I took on finding that potential strategic partner that they might take over some part of the business, or actually finding another individual that wanted to buy their business. But that's what business brokerage is, on the ground, more in the communities, working with the smaller businesses that are trying to buy and sell.
So it's sort of like commercial real estate, where you know, someone comes to you and says, I need 15,000 square feet, find it for me, I don't have the time. So I go out and I look for 15,000, 20,000 square feet at the square foot price that's marketable, you know, at market price. Right. So what you've done is you comb through the catacombs, as they say, and you found someone that's exactly a match or a potential match for them. Education, that's what you do. You educate first, and if education is not the only thing, you go into the back room.
Exactly. And that's exactly how it winds up happening. Is, you know, this small company, they knew they needed to do something, because again, either you're going to close down shop, and you know what that means as a small business owner. Sometimes that is the only source of revenue that is coming in. But again, if you don't have enough revenue, you got to make a decision one way or the other what to do. And so when they reach those crossroads of what to do or how to do, and that's why I said to you initially, I was surprised so many didn't realize there was an option other than just going out of business.
Okay, so now that you've talked to them and told them you have options, and they say, well, how many options do I have? And so you give them more or less a reasonable presentation of what is there for you. Right. No pie in the sky, you know, no primrose path. Realistically, this is what you can do, and that decision is yours after you learn how the process is done. Right. So we're at the point now of where you're sitting down and you're talking to them and everything. They're asking you what type of time frame are we looking at on average? Right. What would be your answer? Okay.
The average, as in real estate, you don't specifically know, but the general framework is anywhere from, say, 3 to 9 months to find a real candidate, go through all your due diligence, and then close the transaction. And what I didn't answer for you before was, yes, that process is just like doing a real estate transaction. And a lot of times you'll find some of those local businesses for sale on MLS. So the real estate part of selling a business is just like doing a real estate transaction. And in helping them, that's exactly what you do. You have to understand the business. You have to put together what I call a confidential memorandum, which is the business's story. You have to list it somewhere. Unlike in real estate that has a MLS, in selling a business, there's no one platform to put it on. But online, you have a lot of different places: biz, buy, sell, businesses for sale, mergers, network. There's just a lot of different online portals where you then upload your information so that people who are looking for businesses to buy have a place to go to look to see if they have a right party there.
So why should I hire you? I can go to Amazon.com, download the book on my Kindle every night, spend 2 or 3 hours reading up on it, take some notes, and then put on my best shirt and tie and suit and go on out there and sell it myself. Why do I need you to do something that the instructions are already there in the book?
You need me because you need to understand those potential buyers that are coming in the door. What is the conversation you have for them? How are you convincing them that they want to buy your business and at the price you're looking for? How are you helping them when they want to do the due diligence and they're asking you for particular paperwork and backup to prove out what you're saying to them? Just like in real estate, you need someone to help you manage that process. That's why you do want to use someone that has some experience and background.
So it's not like Bette Midler where the music is playing and she's looking across the room and he's looking at her and she's saying, "Do you want to dance?" It's not that easy.
It is just not that easy.
It's not hormonally driven, is it?
Exactly.
There are a lot more things involved.
There really is, yes.
Okay, so here I am. I've been in business for a long time. I've watched the market go up and down, up and down. I've survived. In other words, I've been able to hold on to 75% of what I had before the recession started or before more competition came in, to take over. What I want you to do when we come back is I want you to tell me, someone who sat there and thought to myself, you know one thing, you're a genius. Not only can you do this, but we could create another business and have ancillary capital coming in. How do you, when we come back, I want you to explain, how do you listen to someone like me and say, yes, there's a possibility that you can branch out and you can do it on your own with my help?
Okay.
You think you can do that?
Absolutely.
When we come back, we'll test her absoluteness. My guest, Ms. Lorette Farris, CEO of iBoss Inc. I'm James Jack, and this is Rock Your Block.
To order a DVD or VHS copy of this program or any program seen on Channel 10, call 571-749-1101.
Welcome back to Rock Your Block. I'm James Jack, your host. My guest is Ms. Lorette Farris. She is the CEO of iBoss Inc. What does she do? Well, she finds money. So you say, you can do that too, right? You could probably win the lottery tomorrow night or whatever. We all feel that we can do whatever we want to do. Few of us are like Willie Sutton, can just walk into a bank 40 times, rob the banks, and then when they ask, well, why did you rob the banks? And he says, it's because that's where the money was. So you know where the money is. I don't know where the money is. I'm sitting there. I'm thinking to myself, I got this great idea. Technology now has made it possible for me to do something a little, akin to real estate, but it gives me an opportunity to do something that somehow the other people, well, there's always somebody else who's doing something that you think that you're the only one who's doing it, and then you find out, no, they didn't steal your idea, that's just the way it is. But you have this great idea, and you're ready to make it work, but you don't have the skills. Someone calls me up, tells me about you, or I see you on YouTube or on the cable channel, and I say, I think I'll give her a call and have a little talk with her. And how do I prepare myself for that first meeting with you?
You prepare yourself by really understanding what you have in front of you. You have an idea, what else do you have? Is the company already set up? Do you already have team members in mind? Do you have some sense of where you're trying to go? Do you have a business plan? Do you have an executive summary? Those are the things you want to think about. However, I like to work with companies and individuals from the ground up. You have an idea, let's talk about it. What are you trying to do? How are you trying to do it? Because the first thing I have to get a sense of, is this an idea that is going to be palatable to investors? Or is this an idea that's going to be a smaller venture that maybe you can't get the same level of investment dollars into it?
I don't like the word investor.
Okay.
They scare me. They're like lawyers. You know what I mean? They sit on the fence and wait until they think that you breathe your last breath, knowing that they have what you need to bring you back to life. But they are necessary. Tell me the positives about
they are
investment.
necessary, and I think the picture that a lot of people have is just as you laid it out. And I think it's because what you hear in the media and in general is about venture capital, and I think it's a level of misunderstanding. In small businesses, you're not going to get venture capital. In small businesses, you'll get angel investors. And they even try to change the name to make it a little lighter from the comparison you just made. But angel investors really are patient capital. Angel investors are high net worth individuals that like working with small, young startup companies. The company, though, just has to find the right investor for what they're doing.
That's how your Facebooks and...
Well, yes, there's a lot going on in the Facebook world.
Early on, though, very early, before they were even called Facebook, it was just an idea.
When it was just an idea, still, if you don't have the money yourself, if you don't have friends and family surrounding you that can support your idea financially, either you figure out how to get to that next level of capital, or your idea is just going to sit on the shelf.
Okay, so I don't have the time to do that. I get up in the morning, get the kids off to school, I work all day long, I come home, I got to watch 2.5 Men or whatever, Steve Harvey or something like that. I'm mindless. 11 o'clock at night, it comes back to me. I need to sit down and try to figure this out.
Right.
So should I spend my time doing that, or are you going to spend your time doing that for me?
I am going to do 75% of it for you.
Okay.
I'm going to help you understand the 25% you need to be doing. Because that investor on the other side really doesn't want me, he wants you. You're the one with the idea, you're the one with the company, so we have to make sure you can frame it right and understand how to work with that or those investors.
Okay, so I interrupted you when you were talking about the investors. So there are other people involved. There are other programs involved. Tell me more about that.
So the part we didn't mention is you have this idea, you need to reach capital. There are different types of capital. So it's going to depend on which capital we're looking to go for the investor on the other side. For instance, in the beginning we talked about buying and selling. When you go beyond business brokerage, you're really stepping into mergers and acquisitions. Almost similar, just bigger companies, bigger dollars, bigger deals. What happens is you, as a new young company, maybe you want to figure out yourself how to do an acquisition instead of just raising capital, because you want to open a t-shirt factory.
Okay.
You need the factory. So you're going to buy property in order to put your factory in. But guess what? What if there were 3 other small businesses that produce t-shirts? You might want to develop an acquisition strategy that you're putting together the purchase of this building with the purchase of these 3 small shops. You wrap it into one deal. You now have an asset that you can go to your traditional sources, banks, SBA, things of that nature, to now get the funding that you need to purchase these entities.
Isn't that sort of like what they do on Shark Tank? Even though it looks like I'm bringing you the idea, the people on the other side, the ones with the money, are saying, I'm looking for something that will be a match for, for something that I've been working on.
Yeah,
they don't
right.
tell you that, though.
Right.
But you sort of get the feeling that the match that they're making is you've got something that I want,
That's
And
exactly right. A lot that I see on Shark Tank, because of what I do, of course, I'm a little concerned for some of those investors giving up as much as they're giving up for the dollar amount that they're receiving.
They don't know yet.
The however is, if you're sitting there with someone who knows how to put a product on QVC and you're a multimillionaire overnight, that's when you have to think about, well, if they only gave me $100,000,
Yeah.
for 51% of my company, but next year I'm making the kind of millions I would have never made in the next 5 years, then that's how you have to sort of determine, is it worth it or not?
So what you do is you sit there and you put the puzzle pieces together and you say, this will fit, this will fit, this will not fit. And when I'm sitting there talking to you and you explain to me, no, you may think that this will be viable, but it's not. It's not rational. It's not workable.
That's exactly right.
This will work. So
that's exactly
so
right.
I have to take my impulses, my feelings, and everything else, and put them on the shelf, shut the door, and go purely with common sense and the desire to really understand, as opposed to this is my dealing. You know how people get really full of themselves with their business, but in the real marketplace,
difficult. It's difficult with a business. Think about, I mean, that's their baby. This is an idea that they have. They've birthed it in their head. They ingrain it in their hearts. They work. Entrepreneurs are they give up a lot of their life in the time, energy, and effort that they will put behind an idea. So it is difficult when they think a particular thing can and should happen, and via consultation, it's totally different than they thought. However, if an entrepreneur is really looking to get to the other side, the process is what they do have to trust someone else that has the experience to help them figure that part out.
Sort of like my scenario of getting from here to California and needing someone to be able to read not only the road maps, but to see what the weather is saying and whether or not we have enough money for fuel and things like that.
That's exactly
now,
right.
One of the most fascinating things that you talked about, and it's really got me thinking, is the New Jobs Act of 2012. I think that's something that the viewers really need to know, and what they don't know, they can either get in touch with you to find out more about, or they can do some homework. Jobs Act.
The Jobs Act of 2012 is just significant legislature for small businesses. Think about the businesses who the loans dried up for them. They couldn't get loans. I was a small business that had a line of credit that the bank just determined they need to shut down. So as a small business, it's very difficult when you're trying to get the capital that you need to move your enterprise. Jobs Act opened the door for small businesses to be able to raise capital directly themselves. So the regulations that an investment banking firm uses to raise capital for their clients now have similar a place for a small business to do the same thing. However,
sort of like NFL up here, arena football here, still football.
Exactly.
So go ahead.
That's exactly. And so those regulations, there are three huge ones that make a difference for small business. That is your Regulation D, Rule 506C. That allows you to raise an unlimited amount of capital in a 12-month period of time, and you can do it via using general solicitation, though you can only sell to accredited investors. But you can market so you can find those investors. The second one is Regulation A, which allows you to effectively do a direct public offering, which
An
is
IPO?
So it's a DPO because you're doing it yourself.
Yes.
Exactly. IPO, initial public offering, DPO, direct public offering. So you, the small issuer, can do that yourself. And then the third piece is the crowdfunding legislation, which is also going to be huge, because as much as you hear about crowdfunding right now, it is not in place just yet. It's still illegal to do equity-based crowdfunding. Only donation-based is good right now. But when the crowdfunding legislation is is ready for prime time, which is expected by the end of this year, it's going to be significant not only for small businesses, but also for small investors.
Am I going to go to jail if I try to find a chink in the armor behind? You know, some people will always try to find a way to get around or get without playing by the rules. Am I going to go to jail?
Absolutely.
Federal prison?
I'm making, this is my prediction. No, however, these rules are new. The SEC and all the states are very watchful in what's going on and how people are using them. I believe they will be making examples of people who are not walking through them the right way. So if anyone is going to do any one of these, they have to make sure their compliance is strong and in place.
So get the education first. You don't have to go to law school or go to Harvard Business School to find out about all these things.
Right.
Go to someone like you.
Right.
Get started. Take your time, be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, all the other euphemisms, you know,
Right.
Do the right thing.
Yes.
Not talking about the whatever,
Right.
whatever his name is. Anyway,
Him. Correct.
I digress.
You were thinking Madoff.
Yes, I want to thank you for being my guest.
Yes, thank you so much.
I would
It was
love for you to
wonderful.
come back because this conversation is not over. I'm James Jack. My guest today was Miss Lorette Farris. She's CEO of iBoss Inc. Before I say goodbye, I want to thank the crew. They do such a wonderful job. My mother used to always tell me, just say thank you, and then say goodbye. You have a good one.